Welcome everybody to OP Digital Blueprint. Apologies for last week. My hours have changed somewhat, so I never know when I'm getting home at the moment. I could be at the other end of the country. You never know. Every day's an adventure. Anyway, I'm joined by my very good friend Redfern, and some of you may well have watched Chris and Marty's live earlier on. Ash came on, and I know my friend here has made some notes, so we're going to go through that and let you know what's going on, but I also want to cover a few bits and pieces afterwards. So Red, take it away.
Thanks very much, Andy. Yeah, really good. It's been a good day, hasn't it, in OnPassive today? Always gives us a huge boost, good lift when we see our CEO Ash Mufareh. For those of us that are engaged and plugged in, this is exactly the tonic that we look for on a daily basis, is to have that correspondence from our CEO. And today certainly didn't disappoint, did it? If you were on Marty and Chris's live, you would have listened to him and understood what he was saying. Tomorrow on my live, I will be recapping it in much more detail than we're going to go over today. But I did, whilst I was listening to it, make a few notes. Also, the audio of Ash only is going to be up on my YouTube channel today as well at some point. So look out for that as well, so you can have a listen as well. So why are we seeing him? Why did he come on? He actually mentioned this, that he felt it's time to show his face. He's obviously very busy. Before we saw him today, the last time we saw him was at Christmas, if you remember, on Marty and Chris's again. And, you know, he felt it was time that he showed his face, not to bring us any updates of when things are happening, but more than anything, to prove that he's still here and still around and still doing stuff in the background. One of the things that he did mention, which certainly resonated with me, that he is certainly going to tell us his side of the story of what's gone on. Now, my live today was the heading for it was two sides, and that really fell very much into what Ash was saying on Chris and Marty's live today. I was going to go down a couple of different routes, but from what he was saying to us today on that live, that he is going to lay bare, warts and all, exactly what's been going on over the last year in 2024. He actually did say that 2024 has been a good year for OnPassive, even though we from the outside looking in have felt it's been not a very good year because of the turmoil, the ups and downs, the suspension of the accounts, getting it all back, etc., and not getting going again. You know, from our point of view, it's not necessarily been the best year, but he said, when we look back at 2024, you will realize that it's actually been a very good year for us. What did I make of that? The best I can make of it, and I think this is probably true, is that what happened came at the best possible time for OnPassive. We hadn't really got going as a business as far as expanding and developing and the amount of clients that we are going to probably have in it. So for all of the metaphoric hitting the fan that went on, it's probably the best time for it to have happened. Why? Because it means that he can sweep with a clean brush, get rid of people, maybe systems, things that were going on that were really hindering the business. And more importantly, which is what he said today, is that there's many people within the management side of OnPassive that certainly didn't have the right vision of OnPassive that he wanted. He mentioned that they got a new team now that are much more engaged with his thought process and viewpoints. And he has never been more upbeat and excited about it. One thing he did say was he's more confident now that he is going to bring things better than we actually think. Now, he said this a lot, hasn't he? That dream bigger, you don't know what's coming and all the rest of it. But to hear him saying that we don't know what is happening is fantastic. Now, when I was on my live, he actually was messaging me as well. I don't have that much correspondence with Ash, but I do occasionally. And he was just basically asking how I was and the family was, etc. And I said, I'm just on my live. He said, that's awesome. Say big hello to your fans. And he said, we are coming back with a huge splash. And he also put one footnote after I'd messaged him back. He says, our silence is a strategy. Very interesting. Now, we have talked, haven't we, all of us here? Hi, Pete, by the way. Nice to see you. We have all talked about this silence from our CEO is by design. Why? My best guess that I can have on it is because we were leaking like a sieve, in all honesty. There was things getting out that were harming the company, and we were really being put in a position where there was too much information getting out there that was hindering us, not helping us. Now, I was saying about two sides of the story. We really have only heard one side, and a lot of that is, he did mention this, we probably know the names now. He hasn't said the names, but he is going to lay bare, warts and all, exactly what has gone on. And we've also had a huge amount of information from other sources. And when you get information from other sources, we are only surmising it's true and not actually knowing it's true. And when you get both sides of a story, guess what you can do? You can make your decision on what you know. When you're hearing one side, you tend to be pushed in a direction or led in a direction even of your thought process. When you have both sides of the circumstances laid in front of you, then you can make your best educated decision from the information you are given. This leads me nicely on to one of the things he said today, and that is he knows more now than he ever did that the people who are engaged, the people who are true followers, we're not stupid people. He said it amazes him how much we actually know without having the information. Now, a lot of that's to do with our involvement with OnPassive over the years, of how we've evolved with OnPassive. We've been on the journey of OnPassive. We've seen how it grows and the things that are involved in it. And we can do some pretty good best guesses of how we interpret and how we think it's going. And this is really for our CEO to say that he is impressed with our knowledge base of the company, that he knows that we're not stupid people. And this is a massive plus, by the way, for the community of OnPassive, because it means that we are people that want to know about our business. We want to know what it all involves and entails and how it's all going to work. And we are engaged. So that was a huge thing. Also, one of the things that Marty brought up was he wanted to reiterate once again about the community of how much we are behind our CEO and how much we believe in what is happening and the process of OnPassive. And he said, I can guarantee that we are all going to be very happy with the next phase. I'm just going to finish, and then I'll hand it back to Andy. And he said, nothing is expected except massive success for good. This was off the back of him saying that one of the biggest differences with our company and others that are around at the moment, apart from the unlimited aspect of what OnPassive is going to bring, The biggest aspect is that everything is done in a humanitarian, from the heart, with the user and affiliates at the top of his wish list to do well. It's not a company that is going to make the top 2% extremely rich. This is a level playing field for everybody to succeed. That is the wish of our CEO, that we all succeed from what OnPassive is going to do. It really is up to us at the end of the day to leverage everything that is given to us to make our businesses as successful as possible. Back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Red. Pete, we were just discussing about Marty and Chris's live earlier on, where Ash came on, but there were a couple of things that struck me, and Red's kind of covered quite a lot. So, but the focus here is, you know, we've got a lot of uncertainty because there's no information, and a lot of people have what's happening, oh my god. Actually, the fact that this man will not give up, this is at the forefront of everything, and he's working. But what struck me was what he said about, we've seen some of the products and we think we saw a good product, but actually they're much better, you know. And you go, wow. So if you think about it, getting all of the ducks in a row is the most important aspect of this business now. And I have no doubt that there will be a lot of products lined up and ready to go, that they will continue to work on, continue to add extra bits and pieces onto add-ons and benefits, etc. Until everything, and I mean absolutely everything, is quite right. Now, Red made, you know, a point here. Silence is the strategy. Absolutely, it's a strategy. We've seen before the words twisted from our CEO. So why say anything if they're going to be twisted and you don't tell us the truth from other people's points of view, not our CEO? He says it as it is, and then all the words get twisted and everyone gets confused because they didn't necessarily hear what was going on. So silence is golden, and I believe that this is the best way forward. But I also believe that getting rid of the, let's just call it waste, getting rid of the waste and bringing up those that want to see this succeed, have the same vision as Ash, is ultimately the most important thing. Because if everyone's on the same hymn sheet, singing the same song, great, we're going to create something that's absolutely magnificent, and of that I have no doubt. So Pete, what are your feelings on what you heard today?
Well, hi everybody, thanks Andy, over Red. Really exciting, really. I mean, you know, as we all know, as leaders, Chris and Marty, Red, you know, and obviously yourself and Collins and Bob and all those, you know, all the other leaders, we've obviously been emphasizing about having the faith in OnPassive and having the faith with, you know, with Ash. And I think today, Ash, you know, we've all, you know, over the period of time, we've all sort of, what's happening, you know, we've, obviously I've spoken to Red, I've spoken to you, you know, and wonder what's going on, you know, but we've all kept the faith and we've all been really involved in trying to keep the road for OnPassive nice and safe. That's what we've been trying to do. And like with Ash coming out today and obviously sharing his views on what he's been doing and obviously what's been happening, you know, it's been I mean, to me, it's been a big relief. I mean, I've got the faith, but it's really been good to hear Ash today. And I think a lot of founders out there will feel the same way. And like he said, you know, it's good that he's going to, you know, show all and tell all. You know, it's. I think as founders, we need to know the ins and outs of what really happened, just to put our own minds at rest. But then we want to be focusing on later on, obviously, about the next phase and focusing on getting that and working with Ash and making this happen in the right way. And what Ash was saying today, I think we've really got some good, exciting things coming forward for us. And like you said about the products, I mean, we know about OCONNECT. We've used OCONNECT. And to me, it was fantastic. I mean, in the beginning, it just evolved, didn't it, from the beginning to what it was until we obviously got taken down. But Ash did say back then that the next phase of OCONNECT is a lot better. So that's, so we're looking at a lot of products. That's going to be, I think it's going to be really exciting. I mean, I was chuffed to bits with OCONNECT, but, I'm sort of thinking that these products are going to come forward are going to be fantastic for us to use and share. I think they're just going to speak volumes in themselves. And it's not about us selling. I think it's about us just sharing the opportunity of having these products, and they're just going to go on their own. And, I just think we're in a good place, and it's great to hear Ash today. I'm chuffed, and I think everybody else is as well. So back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, absolutely. We discussed on Sunday why we feel that the company's different. The fact that, in my mind, certainly 99.9% of people would have given up. Yeah. Would have given up a long time ago, and yet he, as mentioned before, he's not even interested in the income. He said, if I have to do this for free and still be able to bring it to the world, I will do that. And that is a testament to the man. And quite frankly, we're all behind him. And we can't wait to see the changes that have come on. Any further points then, Ren? Anything you'd like to add on?
Yeah, obviously, one of the points that Pete just brought out, actually, which is very true, and Ash mentioned it as well when he was on Marty's, was he said we need to concentrate on moving forward, and this is what we need to focus on rather than looking back. And a lot of some people have been doing over the last few months is certainly looking back, not looking forward. It's very easy, isn't it, to pick up on stuff that's happened and to put it through the ringer and all the rest of it. That's easy targets, really, I suppose, at the end of the day. But it's certainly not constructive. It's certainly not helpful. And I think that we, as a collective in the community, and especially what Ash has done, is he's certainly concentrated on moving forward, not on what has happened. That has always been his focus, and is something that he suggested that we all do as well. We can't change really what's happened, but what we can do is learn from what has happened and make sure that we are better, make sure that we are more knowledgeable, make sure that those mistakes aren't made again. And this was what puts me back again to saying about 2024 in the year of OnPassive. A lot of mistakes were made, and I'm sure that Ash has said it in multiple times that he does hold his hands up to some of them. Obviously, some weren't his fault, but he is the CEO of the company, and he does take a lot of responsibility for what has happened. But what he did do was to say, enough's enough, I am now taking control. That was a huge positive, because it was apparent and evident that a lot of things were happening in the background. Now, what did he do? He kept on moving forward. He decided to almost sweep clean new brush, having, new staff in and new people in and all the rest of it. Why? Because he's looking forward to the future. He knows what he has in his hands. He has the full picture. We only have snippets of the picture. But one thing we all have, and Pete mentioned this as well, we've certainly got the faith and belief in Ash Mufareh to deliver something that is going to be extraordinary within the online business. This has always been, for me, one of my biggest drives, is knowing that I am part of something really special here, something very different. And that is always held true in my belief of what Ash Mufareh can do. He's obviously extremely confident that he can deliver that very special business to all of us. And we will obviously reap and benefit from those hard work that he's done for us. And this is why I think that regardless of the timeline, it's more important, like Andy said, to make sure that this time round, it has to be right. I'm convinced that this is what he's working on. I'm convinced that when we get going, we are going to be pretty shocked of what we see. I think it's going to be extraordinary. I think we're going to be pretty gobsmacked as well. And to be able to tell our stories of our journeys individually, you know, we're all going to have a good old story to tell, aren't we? I mean, we've had ups and downs, all of us. And when we look back at our willpower to stay the course, we're all going to give ourselves a huge pat on the back, because there's always been something within inside us that's always said, I'm sticking with this. This is the one. You know, there's a reason why I'm still here. There's a reason why I haven't jumped ship. There's a reason why I'm not going somewhere else. And I think our justification for that belief will be given to us tenfold by what our CEO is going to deliver. That's you, Andy.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, it boils down to one extremely, I believe, important fact, and that is, who do you listen to? Now, most people seem to want to listen to people that haven't done anything before. You know, that have these. Well, we've seen certainly channels that have been put up slamming what's going on. Why would you listen to someone who's never actually achieved anything? Who do you listen to? The most important aspect of any business, and I think certainly the three of us will agree, if not our audience tonight, if you've listened to Mr. Mufareh when we first started this journey, the conviction in his voice of what he wanted to achieve and where he wanted to take this was all I needed to hear. Now, we know he's been extremely successful in other businesses, so this is a leader. This is someone you can follow. And I think it's interesting that, you know, we've seen Jeff Bezos take Amazon from nothing up to billions, absolute billions, but he pays his staff minimum wage, and quite frankly, people have worked their socks off to achieve 40,000 of the people on Amazon have become millionaires over the course of the last 20 years. Now, Mr. Bezos probably has no interest in that whatsoever, doesn't give a damn, because quite frankly, he's beholden to shareholders. Now, Ash Mufareh has a system where it's not shareholders, and he wishes to create 1 million millionaires within a much, much shorter period of time. And I believe he will do that. He will achieve that. And I want to be one of them. I don't know about you. And I'm going to work my socks off to make sure that I do get there sooner rather than later. Any extra points, Pete? Anything else you'd like to add?
You know, going what Red was saying about other businesses and all that, and like you were just covering there. I mean, me and Red, you know, we've been working together for many years, and we've been involved with different platforms, and we've seen them come and go, literally come and go. You know, and we've just had this commitment to OnPassive. We just know there's something there for us. We've never, ever since we've been involved in OnPassive, we've never ever looked at anything else. We've just, our focus is with OnPassive, and that's just the way we feel about OnPassive. If it stays the same name, it's just we should say we're focused with Ash Ripara. That's what we should say, because we don't know if it's going to be OnPassive the next phase. It could be a different name, but we truly believe in what Ash has been doing, you know, and you know, we can't sort of you know, with other platforms you don't even get to see some of the CEOs, you know, and all you see is a platform and then it disappears with your money. So you know, I know we've had our issues with OnPassive, but Ash has always been there at the forefront. You know, okay, you know, we haven't seen him since Christmas, but he's there, and we know he's there. And today was proof of the pudding. He's there. You know, he's working for us, and we're working ahead. And I just think as we go ahead, like Red was saying, I think with this phase with OnPassive, it'll be something that will be in the past, and it'll be history to all of us, and we'll have our stories to tell, and it'll be, and it, everybody, you know, it's part of our journey. It's what's happened is part of our journey, and we're moving forward. And I really truly think we're in a fantastic place, and listening to Ash today just confirmed that to me again. So back to you. I can't really say more than that.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. I get that, and I think it's quite amusing, I must admit, because you know, we've had this journey that nobody else, all of the new affiliates that will come in once we go back to market, they'll have had none of this. And they'll see in front of them an opportunity. Will they fully understand it from day one? No, I don't think they will. And I feel sorry for them, because they've actually missed out on something quite special, because we've been involved since almost the start, if you like. I mean, you know, the last early bird position was 3 years ago now. So this is really something that you can tell your grandchildren. Thankfully, I don't have any yet, but I'm sure I'll get some soon. Any final comments, Red?
No, not really. Hey, listen, Pete and I have been around OnPassive for an awful long time, you know, and we speak regularly. It helps both of us to focus on what the big picture is. I think we'd be naive to say that it's been an easy ride. It hasn't. It's been up and down, up and down. But the main point is we're still here. The same way Ash Mifara is still here. We are as well. You know, Pete mentioned it. I mentioned it. We're all going to have our stories to tell, and our journey of how we ended up at the start and where we ended up at the end. You know, we are going to have people in the future who are going to want to hear our OnPassive stories. Why? Because it's unique. The whole of the OnPassive journey is unique. You know, when we talk about these big companies, and we don't know how big OnPassive is going to be, but certainly we know the stories of Jeff Bezos and Amazon, and you know, all of the stories of how they all started, and seeing the pictures, and you know, all the rest of it. This is just going to be another one of those extensions of our stories to tell. Do you think these guys had it easy building their businesses? No, they didn't. But there is a fundamental difference of the story, and the story is going to be that this was done for us. It wasn't done for them. This has been done for us. Andy mentioned it. Ash hasn't got any desire to be a rich and wealthy man. He's got every desire to change what humanity thinks of him, how he's going to have an impact on society, and an impact on the world. That is his desire. And he can only do that by helping people. Everyone else, the top four, they're so wealthy, it's unbelievably ridiculous. You mentioned Jeff Bezos. You know, he's not even the richest man in the world at the moment, but what he earns in 13 minutes is the average lifetime salary of a person in the United States. Just think about that. 13 minutes, right? What he earns in 13 minutes is the equivalent of a lifetime salary in the US. I mean, that's just crazy. And he's not even the richest man in the world. You know, just imagine what Elon Musk is having per second, per minute. Absolutely ludicrous. And what do they do with the money? They just want more. That's what they want. They just want more power, more money. That's not going to have the impact on society in a positive nature. What Ash Mufareh is trying to do is to empower all of us to make that positive difference. That's how things are done. That's how things are achieved, is by the community leading by example, and people, guess what they do? They follow that example, okay, because it's a good example to do rather than being told what to do. Anyway, I'll hand it back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Red. Any final comment from you, Pete?
No, you guys have said it all, you know, and I mean, we've been in it since 2018, me and Red, and we've seen it all, and we just know it's going to get better. We just know it's going to get better. So. Absolutely.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. I will try and get together with you guys again on Tuesday, but please bear with me at the moment. As I said, my hours are somewhat ridiculous. I think I started last Friday at 5 in the morning, got home at 10:30 at night. So it's been a long one, but anyway, we'll get there.
Oh, it's temporary, Andy.
It is, absolutely, it's temporary. Absolutely, it's temporary. But we do what we must for the time being. Yeah. That's the key. Thanks, guys, anyway. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Andy.